afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Bernardo Gonzalez, and today, as every week, you are listening to 21C Analysis, your favorite reflection and community news program. Our topic for today are the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, especially focusing on the second one named Zero Hunger. As an introduction, we're going to talk about what specifically is an SDG and general information about them. Then, we're going to take a deep look into our chosen one, SDG number 2, and what does it plan to achieve. After that, we're going to be focusing on 3 specific demographics of our community, and we're going to analyze the perspective of people that are involved with them. In 2015, all the United Nations members agreed on establishing 17 so-called Sustainable Development Goals to be achieved by 2030. These goals include aspects like environmental care, a better living standard for the people, justice, peace, and equality, among others. As its name establishes, the second SDG pretends to eradicate hunger, achieve food security with proper nutrition, but also to achieve sustainable agriculture. By 2030, the United Nations want to end hunger and ensure access to food to all people, end all forms of malnutrition, double the agricultural productivity, ensure sustainable food production systems, among others. On today's program, we are going to be focusing on the ending malnutrition aspect, since it is one of the most important topics nowadays, and it is relevant in the International Declaration of Human Rights. Malnutrition is not a new topic. This problem does not have its origin during our century, not even during the last 1 or 2. Malnutrition and inequality is something that exists since almost the beginning of mankind. Luckily, nowadays there are lots of governmental and non-governmental organizations that are helping the societies and the world in general fight malnutrition. Specifically in Puebla, the food bank of the city says that 1 in every 4 people suffers hunger. This means that around 400,000 people, including of course children, have to deal with these every day. And if these alarming numbers happen inside the state capital, it means that in the rural areas these numbers are worse. For today's program, we have information about 3 demographics. The first one we're going to talk about is the city center. It is more than enough walking a few blocks around a touristic area in the streets like the Cinco de Mayo, or the Ocho Oriente, or the portals of the Zócalo, to notice that there is a lot of people begging for money or working in unsettled businesses like food or clothes to earn their living. Lots of these people bring the children with them and force them to ask for money or to work in these places. Many times these people are forced to eat junk food like chalupas or tacos or tortas because it is the cheapest and the fastest they can get, but of course it is not healthy for them and it doesn't represent any nutrition for the children. I went to the city center and I stood there for a couple of hours. I realized some things that people had in common. Most of them were in a hurry or they were trying to get somewhere as quickly as possible. I also had the opportunity of talking with a person who worked at a restaurant of tortas. He told me that many times people are looking for the most economic option to eat as quickly as possible. They also bring their children with them, even though they do not get the proper nutrition with those kind of products. After going to the city center, I went to a block near my school named Castellotla. There I went to a center called Comamos y Crezcamos con Alegría. A lady there told me what they do. Mainly they focus on giving proper education and nutrition for children whose parents are not able to be there at many times of the day because of their job. They are mainly maintained because of donations. They offer food to almost 30 children per day, but she also told me that that number was just about 20% of their full capacity. They try giving the children a proper nutrition working with the food they count on. After that, I had a completely different perspective about nutrition and food care in my city, and also in nearby zones that I go. But now, I also wanted to take a look at the problem around my state and not only my city. I met with a middle-aged farmer at the Mercado de Zaragoza, and he told me he was from a pueblo called Zacapuazla. He told me he came to Puebla every weekend to sell the products he harvests. He told me he earns money to have a better quality of life for him and for his family. He also wants to give a better future to his sons and his wife. He told me that his diet and the diet of his family was mainly based on tortillas and beans, and that many times, if the sales were not good enough, they did not have enough food to eat. These interviews, dear listeners, made us go to a conclusion that millions of people in our city, our state, our country, and the whole world suffer from lack of food and also from malnutrition. We as a community should encourage our government to create strategies against this huge problem, but also as individuals we can help these people by donating things that they need the most, like money or food, because we are lucky of having what we have. But just a few blocks away from where we live, from where we are, from our community, there are people suffering that would like to have at least half as much as we do. That, dear listeners, is the conclusion I want you to keep. Thank you so much for listening to today's program, and we really hope to have you here back next week. See you later, and thank you again for listening to 21C Analysis.